It's time for The Story Behind the Person, featuring lively, in-depth conversation with compelling guests from our community. And here is our host, Jonathan Van Bilsen.
Hello, my guest today is a music phenomenon. Born and raised in Colombia, Juan Coronado has been elected as one of the top 10 guitar heroes worldwide. He's put out more music than I can listen to, and his sound is amazing. We'll meet Juan right after these messages.
Not all Canadians have the time or desire to manage their finances. That's where we come in, helping Canadian families plan for a secure, happy, and successful future. Visit our website at www.teamfg.ca.
At Voss, your independent grocer, it's all about hometown living and shopping. Owned and operated by Terry and Christine Voss, their newly renovated Port Perry store carries many local items to support our town and its residents.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, my guest today is Juan Coronado, one of the most fantastic musicians I've ever met. Juan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's so nice to be here.
So it's an amazing career that you've had. I first heard about you 25 years ago, give or take, when you were chosen one of the top 10 guitar players in the world from over 3,000 submissions, which is quite an honor.
That was a big surprise, I must say. Yeah.
So you played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, and I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing venue, and just to be able to play there must have been quite the feat, right? Must have been quite the honor.
It was amazing, especially because at that time my career as a solo artist was just starting.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I knew that Guitar Player magazine was looking for new guitar players to, showcase, that's the moment when I started thinking, oh, maybe I should do this. Because I haven't worked on any instrumental music before. And basically I recorded 2 songs, sent them, and I forgot about it because it took a long time to hear an answer. So I literally forgot, just like, it's just my first 2 songs was ever going to happen. And like 8 months later, I got a phone call that I'm invited to play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the best 10 guitar players they found all over the world.
Wow.
I still say it, I can't believe it.
Yeah, really. I mean, that must have just been an amazing day for you.
It was very surprising. It's a beautiful thing that people can appreciate your music and
Absolutely. I want to take it back a bit to the early days, your background. You were born in Colombia.
That's right.
In Medellin.
That's right.
Which is a beautiful city.
It is.
I've had the pleasure of visiting. I'm surprised we didn't run into each other. And you came to Canada when you were, how old were you?
30.
30. So you were raised pretty well in Colombia.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, you spoke English in Colombia?
A little bit.
Because your English is amazing.
Well, it's been a while anyway. Yeah. But there I take English classes after high school, like in the afternoons. And then eventually I had the opportunity to work with a drummer that was from Canada, actually.
Oh, okay.
In my band back there called Emma Who.
Emma Who, I've got that down here.
That's right. So we had a drummer that was actually from Canada, and that forced me to find my way to communicate with him in musical terms.
Right, I bet his Spanish wasn't that great. No.
Not that great, no.
Yeah. So you were 16, you were trying to break into the mainstream music. Now, when did you actually start playing guitar?
About that time, about 16, I got curious about, I just got really excited about listening to music.
Okay.
And one day I thought, well, if this is the way it feels to listen to it, what does it feel to make it?
I can imagine.
Right? I thought it would be, because it was so exciting to me. So that's when I went like, well, what happens if I'm the one who's projecting this energy and, making somebody else feel this excitement? But so that was my curiosity about music.
Your music, though, is very Metallica. It's very heavy metal-ish, right?
Yes. Yes.
Which if I'm not mistaken, South America was more towards Latin.
That's right.
That kind of beat. So you're breaking out of the norm.
Yeah. There was the rock movement when I started was not big, although in the late 80s there was the appearance of rock in Spanish.
Right.
So bands from all over South America started to pop in the radio and doing some pop rock in Spanish, and that was kind of like a huge revolution.
Right. Now, were you musically inclined before you started playing your guitar? Like, you've always been interested in music? Do you have you come from a music background? Are your parents musicians? No?
Yes.
Okay.
They play guitar.
Okay.
They sang. but I think that's why I didn't like music when I was younger.
Good one.
In fact, there was a Christmas. I don't remember how old I was, but my Christmas present was actually a guitar, and I was so disappointed.
Is that right? Oh.
I was very little.
But you stuck with it.
But eventually,
Yeah.
when I was left on my own, I decided that I wanted to explore rock music.
Right.
Because my parents did nothing
Not
close to
into
rock.
rock,
No,
no.
not at all.
So that must have been fun in the house when they're trying to sleep and you're trying to practice. I can imagine.
Actually, I used to practice a lot of hours right after school. Just sit there with my guitar, an acoustic guitar, not an electric guitar. I couldn't even afford that.
Yeah.
So it was my mom's guitar, nylon string, classical. Just playing over and over and over for hours after school.
Right.
That's all I did.
Yeah. So you're
for a long
self-taught.
time. Yes,
You're totally
absolutely, yeah.
So you started with a group, or you started a band, right? And you managed to get a #1 hit that was played on the radio.
Yes, yeah, that was an interesting thing. Well, there was a couple bands before that. I started as a drummer.
Okay.
In a punk band.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of funny. I played a couple shows and.
'Cause I did watch your videos, and you are an amazing drummer.
Oh,
and
thanks.
I mean, your guitar playing is okay too. But I was surprised that I had to do a double take because I didn't realize it was you playing the drums.
Yeah.
So
That's been guitar became my job, and drums are like my hobby.
is that right? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love playing drums.
So you've done countless live shows back then, all in Colombia.
That's right.
You must have gathered a following, right, of people.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, there was like the little punk band at the beginning.
Right.
That was just kind of like my first taste of being on stage.
Okay.
But really, I wanted to play guitar.
Right.
And there was a day where I decided that I really needed to start a band.
Right.
Call a couple people that I just met and say, hey, let's make a band. And that's when I made that first band called Emma Who.
Right. And where's that name come from?
We looked for a bunch. Finding a name for a band is really hard.
I can imagine.
It's very hard. Everything sounds stupid.
Yeah, that's true. Juan and the boys didn't make it, right?
So I don't remember exactly who found it, but it was 3 of us, and we were going through the library and the university, going through books, and I was studying industrial design. My other musicians were in, I forget, but we were all in the same university. We went to the library and started going through books, and we found there's a legend of some sort of spirit that gets into your dreams.
Oh,
So
Eerie.
yeah,
interesting.
and we thought Emma Who sounds okay. Okay, we needed a name now, so we didn't really.
It's a good name. I mean, it's a good name. I know. I mean, there've been some pretty weird names. I think Simon and Garfunkel, when they started, were called Tom and Jerry. So I think it goes all over the place. So as I mentioned, people started to follow you. That
band did really well. Although that was a very different thing. I was actually the singer and guitar player.
Okay.
It was a trio, and we had a really good manager. Basically, all the success of that band was on him because he was a really good manager. But yeah, it was like 7 years where we did really big concerts in Colombia. It was all over the place, the big crowds, and it was a very good thing.
So you're making some
happening.
money at this point.
That was, well,
I mean, the manager's making money.
the money's not great, but things moved,
pays the bills,
and it went well. It went well, and after that, then we started La Universal, which is the band that had a #1 hit in the radio.
Now you cut a record as well. Was that with Emma Who?
Yes, we did actually with both. Yeah, Emma Who had a record deal. That was an amazing thing. The band has been together for 3 months.
Right.
My manager was so good. He got us a record deal in 3 months.
Really? Wow.
And we were signed on a label. It was amazing.
So the music for the record, did you write it?
Yes.
All of it?
I did. I started at that point writing everything: bass, drums, guitar, vocals, melodies, everything.
Really? So the people that were in Emma Who, did any of those come into the new band?
No.
You just separated, split?
Yeah. After that, I'm really good friends with the bass player, Richard.
Oh, you're still in touch with him?
Yeah, very much. One of my best friends. And but we haven't done music together since then.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I recently invited him to play a little bass line on a song. But yeah, we haven't, and I think we should.
I play guitar too, just in case you're looking for
Oh,
I know 3 chords, and I know them really well.
I'm telling you, we should have been jamming here.
Yeah, no. Thanks, but no thanks. So your next project was La Universal?
La Universal. That's the band that had a #1 hit in the radio.
Okay. What was that song? Was that the 8? What song was that you had #1 hit?
That one was called Ola de Calor, which is like a heat wave.
Okay.
That was a very random thing. We basically went for an interview on a radio station.
Right.
And I brought this new song. We literally finished it like half an hour before getting to the interview. Brought it there, and I forgot the CD in the. So we left the interview, and I went, "Oh, I forgot the CD," and they started playing the song in the radio. People started calling, and it became a #1.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
So random.
Isn't it amazing? What we're going to do is, with your permission, we're going to listen to a segment from Dreaming Butterflies.
Awesome.
Which is a beautiful, beautiful piece. I just love it.
I love that
So
one.
we'll listen to that. We'll go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk about your life in Canada.
Perfect.
All right. Enjoy this, and we'll see you soon.
Pet Value has a fleet of services to help you and your pets to live their very best lives. Visit Pet Value in Port Perry to discover a world of expertise, friendly staff, and everything you need for your pets. Pet Value, your pet, your store.
Top care with top stylists. Book your next hair appointment with Port Perry's award-winning hair salon, Rosario Greco Styles. The hair experience you deserve. Book today. Call 905-985-0099.
Organizing an event, promoting your business, or just need to get noticed? At PP Print, our sale flags, lawn signs, and car branding will get you the attention you need. PP Print, more than just printing.
Welcome back. Juan, that was just amazing. That was just an amazing piece of music and fantastic ability to play guitar.
Thank you so much.
I am just impressed. I can see why you have won all the awards you've won and why you do have a good following. Speaking of awards, some of them I've listed here. In 2007, you were selected again as a top 10 guitar hero at the American Music Hall in San Francisco.
That's right, yeah.
And then you were Best World Music by the Ontario Independent Music Awards. This can go on forever. Best Song for the 8th Floor.
That's right.
which you wrote too. You write everything that you play. And I like this one, the Orange County Music Awards, Best International Artist.
Yeah.
That's great. So you've been in Canada now for you said about 20 years or so, give or take?
Yes.
And also the Best Rock Recording of the Year for Durham Region.
Right.
Yeah. That's the Durham Region Music Society. Just amazing. So you play drums.
I do.
And fantastic, as you saw in the beginning of that clip, you're a fantastic drummer, great guitarist, great songwriter. What are you going to do going forward? Like you've got everything sort of in your bucket. Are you going to learn to play the mouth organ or the harp or something like that?
Well, I wish I could play a little bit better piano.
Yeah.
I am, as an artist, you're always looking to improve and look for new things. Right. I want to be looking for new sounds and creating new things. Now, my son has turned out to be a pretty good composer and piano player.
I've heard that. Mateo, right?
Mateo, that's right.
You have a daughter as well.
That's right, Eva.
Is she into music too?
She plays guitar, but she's not into being a professional musician.
What about your wife? Is she a musician?
Well, guess what? We met on the band called La Universal, the one that we had a #1 hit, Ola de Calor. She played in that band too, so we met through that band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why did you move to Canada?
She's actually Canadian.
Okay, so
she lived in
here.
Colombia for a while. We met there. We got married, and then eventually we decided to move to Canada.
Okay, which is a good move for you.
Yeah, it was surprising to come here and realize all the stuff that you left behind. I really didn't think about how hard it will be.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah, you leave your home. Plus, we have a thing called snow. You don't have a lot of that in.
Not a lot.
Medellin.
But it was surprising to see that I couldn't even go somewhere and buy strings for my guitar. I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I had not one friend. I didn't know anybody in the media. No musicians. Tough. It was a shock.
Yeah, especially when you need music for money to come in, and when you don't have that, you need to.
It was shocking. Yeah, I didn't realize everything that I left behind until I arrived.
Obviously done well. No thoughts of going home now, I'm sure. So your son Mateo is quite the accomplished drummer,
and piano player, bass player, singer, songwriter. He plays bass player, everything, saxophone.
Really?
You see him playing saxophone, he's insane.
I didn't realize. I knew that he was a musician, but just before we started taping, you mentioned that he did all these things. Yeah. So we actually have a clip which I'd like to play. It's a short little clip of him playing. I'm not sure how old he was in the clip, but he was playing the drums, and you're sort of on guitar.
Right. When we were I was trying to write a new song.
Right.
And he was helping me with the drums.
And
just very little there.
And then we're going to add to that a clip of him recording his CD.
His new, he has a new video for his new album, because he just released an album.
We'll talk about that after, but we'll look at this clip now, these two clips together. And how old is he now?
He's 13.
13, my gosh. So let's watch these and see what it's like to be a total musician at the
Have I been good? Do I regret? Will I be happy with who I've been? I get caught up with thoughts in my head. I hope and hope that you don't forget all of the feelings in a silhouette. Well, I mean, we're starting out now. I hope that this works out for me.
That was just fantastic. I am just blown away at 13 years old to be able to do all of that. So he composes, he
plays all the instruments
and mixes them together afterwards.
And he engineers everything in his own studio and mixes it himself, and everything that you hear is just him and his computer and his instruments.
His home studio, not even your studio.
No, he has a little studio in his own room, and he doesn't really want me to intervene much.
Yeah, of course.
He has questions about things, how do I use this microphone?
You can guide him, but
how do I plug this in?
It needs to be his project.
But that's it. So it's hands off, right? He wants to do it on his own, and he's doing really well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So if he's 13, he should be able to hit the road when he's 15. You can retire. Life will be good. So you have a studio as well, right?
That's right.
Which, ironically, it's called Ultrasonic Co.
That's right.
And so tell me about that. What do you do there?
Well, it's a recording studio, and I also teach.
Mm-hmm.
So, I engineer for other people. Bands come over and record their own music, and I can, record everything and mix it and master it, and they have their project done.
Right.
So I did, after university, I actually studied engineering for recording.
Okay.
And I also have a section in the studio where I teach guitar and drums and bass.
Right. So, and the studio's in Whitby?
That's right.
Okay, we'll put the address on the screen so that people can contact you if they want to.
Perfect.
So basically then, if I write a song and I want to kind of make it into an album, I can come and visit you.
That's right.
And you will put it all together for me.
That's right.
So if I only play guitar, you can add the drums and you can add everything?
I could. I've done that actually a couple times. Pretty fun stuff to collaborate with people and develop their ideas. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be cool. So now how many albums have you actually put out yourself?
Whew. Let's see. With Emahu there was one. With La Universal there was two. Then as a solo artist, I have three albums. Oh my goodness, I'm losing track. It's because there's more recorded than what's been released, actually. Okay. There's 4 out right now, and there's 2 more coming out.
Okay.
And there's 1 that is being recorded.
Okay.
Right now. So yeah, I have there's a live album that I'm gonna release soon.
Right.
And there's a whole album with cover songs.
Okay.
And so that's all done and ready. I just haven't released it yet.
Really? So cover songs of so Black Magic Woman on there?
You know what's interesting is I started recording songs that meant something to me.
Right.
Just because I thought it would be fun. When I started playing guitar, I was listening to some music and I dreamed that one day I could play it.
Right.
And so came a day where I decided, well, I could try to play the songs that I liked when I was a kid. Can I do this?
Yeah.
And then I did a song, but the trick is that they're all instrumental. Okay. So I changed the vocals for guitar melodies.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the guitar replaces the singing.
That's right.
Interesting.
And so I started with one, and I liked it, and then another one, and I'll have a whole bunch of songs that they all mean something to me.
Right.
And so that's the way I was choosing them. They have to mean something to me first.
So, well, that makes sense. And do you sing in Spanish?
I did. Yeah. I did. That was back in Emahu.
But now everything's English?
Now everything is guitar.
Okay, so you don't do any more vocal.
I stopped singing.
Okay. Is that why is that? Just your voice getting older, or are you just not enjoying it as much?
I don't know. I wanted to do instrumental music, and then I never looked back into singing. I actually don't know. And I don't know if one day I'm going to go back singing.
Okay. You're not looking for a lead singer, are you?
Well, we'll talk later.
No, we won't. No, we won't. No. So I'm curious. So you've got the career going. The band is doing well. You've got some really good music coming out, and you switched to going solo. And what prompted that? Why would you do that?
Well, I guess there was a time when I started listening to instrumental music. I didn't know that even existed until a friend of mine showed me an artist named Steve Vai. And I listened to that, and I was just blown away with the guitar work.
Right.
And it was just, rock music with guitar. And ever since, that was back in 91 or 92, that was in my head. One day I want to try that.
Right.
And then when I see the Guitar Player magazine is looking for guitar players, that's when it clicked. It's like, I've always wanted to do this.
Okay.
And now there's an incentive.
Right.
Give it a try. And then it went well.
Yeah.
So I just never looked back. I just keep playing guitar and keep enjoying my instrumental
music. Plus you can
music.
control everything yourself, right? So if I understand correctly, then you get one part of the song done. You either sing it or whatever. You put the headsets on, and then you sit behind the drums and you play the drums while you're listening to it.
That's right.
And then you put the headset on and listen to the drums while you play the guitar and or piano or whatever you.
That's
you do.
right. Yeah, because I'm the only musician.
Right.
And at the same time, while I'm recording, I'm creating the song.
Right.
So it's a very slow, difficult, painful process.
It's not one, like you don't do it just in one time, one take.
Only the drums.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I force myself to do that, because that's very hard. But I like to take the drums in one take.
Yeah.
Everything else, I'm just composing as I go.
How long does it take you to do like from the time you write the song until from the time you sit down at the drums until you actually finish?
Until this is done?
Yeah.
You know, I've done songs in one day.
Really?
There was a time where I could do it in one day. Now I'm taking a little bit longer because I really want to think about every decision that I'm making.
Oh, good.
And so I don't really know how long it's taking me. It can take a couple weeks.
Yeah. But it must be gratifying when it's finished, right?
Yeah,
really
you know what's
gratifying.
funny? It's so painful, the process, because you don't know if this is going anywhere.
Yeah.
And when all of a sudden it clicks and you hear it done, it's a tremendous joy.
I can imagine.
So it's an addictive thing. It's just being an artist and being creative it just at the end is so rewarding.
It's
a beautiful thing.
It
Yeah.
must be gratifying. Well, unfortunately, our time is up. It's come to an end. It went very fast. Very fascinating story that you have to tell. Also, I wanted to wish you all the best because you're up for a Latin Grammy, right?
Thank you so much.
So
yes.
all the best with that. I hope that comes through. I'm going to pop down and visit your studio.
Excellent.
Because I'm really curious as to how it looks. Thank you very, very much for being part of our show today.
Oh, thank you
It was a pleasure
so much.
meeting you.
No, it's a pleasure meeting you.
And maybe we can do this again in the future.
Absolutely, anytime. This is really good.
And thank you all for watching as well. Please join us every month right here for the story behind the person.
Want to know what's happening in Skugog? News and lifestyle, changes in business, and all the entertainment information you'll ever need. Plus, each edition has a new photos and travel article. Look for your next copy in your mailbox.
Whether it's need to know information, local politics, charity fundraisers, or simply fun community events, we have you covered year-round. We are the Standard newspaper,